The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Napick and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Napick.
Welcome to the show. It is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Thank you for joining us. I am Bill Napick, your host today. As always, reminding you to go to stewart.com/radio. That's right. You could see the show on the YouTube channel by going to stewart.com/radio and also access past shows for, a couple years now. So great stuff is right there on the website. Stewart.com/radio. And today we have a super show. As always, real estate professionals abound. In addition, on the show I talk about our business development people, our escrow officers, our people at Stewart Title and Stewart Insurance are there to serve in a tremendous way 24/7. And we talk to business development officers on the show a lot, most of the time right here in Houston, Texas. But today, we are going to get into corporate jet and go to Corpus Christi, Texas, and talk to our business development officer there, Bethany Marin. And right here in the studio, we have top real estate professionals. And it's about time to get down to business as we start with Dewana Baker. She is the president of the Women's Council of Realtors in Fort Bend, and also she is with a company called Real Estate Driven. Dewana, welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you?
Doing pretty well. And you have your hands full right here in the real estate world in Houston, helping buyers and sellers. In addition, you're the president of the WCR. So first, though, let's talk about buyers and sellers a little bit and how you're helping them right here in the Houston area.
So right here in the Houston area, I am helping my buyers and sellers by making sure that they are purchasing a house at the right price, which we all know the right price is not the right price because prices have been inflated over this past year. But hopefully, with the interest rates going up, we can get back down to our normal playing field pricing and not being price gouged out of a home for some of our buyers. For the sellers, it's a good thing because they're making money off real estate right at this moment. But for buyers, it's not too much for them. They're having to juggle and go up above asking price, and that might not be good for some of them, and they might not get exactly what they want. They might have to settle right here.
Well, we've heard it's been difficult for buyers here lately. I'm also hearing that it's getting a little easier. Are you finding that, or maybe not?
I am. I'm finding that they're not having to go up in price as much, and they're not actually competing like they might be like one or two people that are actually going for this particular home because they're just, settling, they're staying in their price point that they have because that's what they can afford to buy.
And when you're helping, whether it's a buyer or seller, are you in a certain geographic area or what areas do you cover here in Houston?
I typically cover my area where I live in the Fort Bend area, but I have went outside of my area and have helped other people in the Humble, Atascocita. So I will generally go all over because I am licensed to go anywhere in the state of Texas, but I normally try to stay in my geographic area, which is Fort Bend.
And of course, as I mentioned, business development officers. I want to thank Kevin Davidson, our business development officer, for being able to get you here on the show today. That is super awesome. Speaking of the Women's Council of Realtors, Fort Bend District, let's tell people, as the president, some of the things that you're doing right there in Fort Bend with the Women's Council of Realtors.
So I have done a lot this year. I've started the ground running. I wanted to make sure that I gave the members and other realtors in the area an opportunity to do educational classes every month. So that's something that we've been doing every month, doing an educational class. Actually, we have a class tomorrow with Kevin Davison at Stewart Title in Sugar Land. So I encourage everyone to come out to the classes. A lot of the classes are free. We have great sponsors that have provided us the opportunity to have great activities. We've done from the Margarita Crawl to we're going to do a bowling tournament coming up in the future. We have a lot of different things going on. I have a real, this September we're going to do a safety event, We have a speaker coming from out of California. She's going to be empowering us with her book called The Art of Badassery, Jennifer Costetta. So I'm excited about that. We're just doing a lot. So with Women's Council, our 4 pillars is leadership, referral, network, and education. That is what we plan to do for our realtors and all our strategic partners, to educate the community, be a part of the community, do leadership, just partner with just different people, just doing what Women's Council do. So,
well, I understand there's quite a few chapters or organizations within the Women's Council of Realtors. Let's tell people, as far as the Fort Bend, and there may be realtors listening or someone that wants to join, is it easy to join? And if so, what should someone do if they want to be a part of this in the Fort Bend and in your area?
It's very easy to join. I mean, they can follow us on our social media platforms, on Facebook and Instagram. They can go to our Women's Council of Realtors Fort Bend page, and they can join there. Our membership director is Christian Mans. They can always reach out to her, and she can walk them step by step through on how to become a member. To be a member is $185, but it's well worth it. I've met some really nice and wonderful people along the way and across the country. I've gotten great referrals from people across the country. I was able to refer business to other people across the country, to other agents. So I think it's a really good organization. It's not just for women. I know a lot of people get, like, what about the men?
Yeah, what about the guys?
It is for men too. We have a lot of males in the Women's Council Realtors. Some of them actually are the presidents of their actual network. There's 9 local networks here in the Houston area.
Wow.
From the Greater West to Montgomery County to Lake Houston, Bay Area, the regular Houston chapter, Greater West chapter. So it covers the whole entire area of Houston. So if you wanted to be in a network, you can actually be in a network close to you and not go a network that's far away from where you live.
And do you meet at a certain time per month, or the activities are spread out? Because I remember years ago I went to one of the, I think it was here in the Galleria, whatever that chapter was called, and I think they had a regular meeting once a month, but how's that working
Typically,
out?
it goes on what the actual president or what the network actually wants to do. Our goal is to at least have 4 industry events and 2 social events, so you don't necessarily have to have a meeting every month. And I know in the past Fort Bend has had meetings every month, but we wanted to change some things up this year and do something a little bit differently. So I've just done the 4 industry events. I've partnered with Fort Bend HAR and done some of my events, or just done my events on my own. I've done the more social events because of the pandemic. We have lost a lot of members. So I was trying to do a lot more social events so we can get more people involved in Women's Council. So,
well, as a real estate professional, any real estate professional, your hands are already busy, especially with the market the way it's been, and even right now helping buyers and sellers. What is it about the Women's Council of Realtors that drew you in, where you wanted to help and make a difference?
My first career was nursing, so I just love helping people. So one of the things I do know about Women's Council is all about the communities that we serve. They want us to serve our community. So anywhere we can go in and volunteer and give value about real estate or give education about real estate is something that that drew me really to Women's Council. And just the ladies in the business, getting that expertise, getting that advice from them. That's, for some of the ladies who've been in the business a long time, that mentorship. I call it Women's Council Realtors a sisterhood of realtors. Or a brotherhood of realtors. You have all these realtors doing the same thing that you're doing, and sometimes you feel like you don't have anyone to talk to far as, what's going on in the business. So I look to some of these ladies for professional advice and personal advice because, we're all trying to juggle real estate, take care of our homes, and be in this tough business in these different markets. 1 minute we are in a good market, next minute we're in a bad market. So, or some people won't say it's bad market, but
over the course of time, it's like anything else. The market changes, so we all have to be nimble and ready to change at any point, and also have a little bit of vision to see what's going to be happening down the road as best that we can. But you said also that it was a tough business, and I think one of the things, and maybe you agree with me, that people see real estate shows on TV, and some of those shows make it look easy. And you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, I do. I do. It's not as
some
easy.
People go, I'm going to be a realtor because I want to drive a Mercedes or a luxury car and sell $1 million homes. That's what it's like, right?
That's what they think.
There you
It's
go.
a lot of work because you're
It
dealing
really
with a
is.
lot of different people and their personalities, and you're really taking care of the person as a whole, as well as trying to get them to purchase the house of their dreams. So,
Yeah, and a lot of twists and turns because you're selling to individuals, to couples, and also dealing with the seller. So a lot of different things going on. Not to mention, it's an emotional purchase as well.
Oh,
so
yeah,
there's a
most
lot of
definitely.
emotions that are involved in the residential real estate transaction sometimes. So, yeah,
most definite.
you always have to be on target and ready to change and help the buyers and sellers every step along the way.
You do. I mean, you like holding their hand. Sometimes they're like your baby, your children.
Well, that's right. A lot of
So-
people, they're not buying and selling every couple of years.
And I will say, even if you've already purchased homes in the past, every transaction is different. So a lot of people think that, I'm going to do what I did the last time. It might not work that way. So you definitely need that real estate professional to help lead you and guide you and make sure that, you have that sounding board, because it is an emotional purchase. And sometimes you might buy a home that might not fit your actual needs or your lifestyle, but you buy it anyways because you just want it and this is what you want to do, and not get that sounding board. So I prefer people use a real estate agent so they can get all the facts and, have that person to juggle off different ideas, just in case something they forget when they go and purchase their home.
Certainly now more than ever, you need a real estate professional to help you through navigate the sale or if you're purchasing, either way. So also, as far as the Women's Council of Realtors, what else should we talk about before we close the segment? What do you want people to know?
I just really want people to know that we need to really get out and help each other and support each other in different activities. I really appreciate Kevin giving me the opportunity. He asked me if this is something I would want to do, and I was like, oh yeah, this would be great. So without him even offering this, I probably would have never done this. But just being out here helping other organizations, other brokerages, we all should just try to get together and try to make the best out of this real estate world that we're in.
And
right now.
also, when you were talking about the Women's Council, one of the things I would think it also provides is that even though realtors are part of a brokerage and there's other professionals there, this is another opportunity to have, as you were saying, to talk to others, to counsel with others, but also I'm sure some great friendships are happening along the way. We meet friends and say, oh man, I wouldn't have met them if I didn't go to the Fort Bend WCR.
Oh, most definite. And I encourage, realtors not only to join the local networks in their area, but definitely get involved on the state level and the national level, because Women's Council Realtors have a state level and a national level.
They're all over.
They're all over. International, all over. We have our state conference coming up for the state of Texas. Will be in September in Fort Worth. And then we have our El Paso, where our state leadership will be installed in El Paso in October. And then the National Association of Realtors conference, where Women's Council Realtors is a part of that as well. It's going to be in Orlando. And I encourage everyone to get involved and go to at least one of these conferences, or not just, if you don't get to go to all of them, just go one time so you can just meet other realtors from other areas so you can get that network referral business going, because I have done that. That's what I really love about Women's Council. I referred business out in California to DC, in the Valley. I mean, these are people I probably would have never met if I were not in Women's Council.
Sounds like fun to me. We're talking with DeWanna Baker. She is with a company called Real Estate Driven, and she is the president of the Women's Council of Realtors right here in Fort Bend County in Houston, Texas. The fourth largest city in the United States is what they're saying, right?
Yes.
In fact, some people are saying it's going to be the third largest.
It probably will be the third largest. And Fort Bend is like the number one county
Is that
for
right?
people to come and purchase homes.
That's
Because
unbelievable.
it's very diverse. So come to Fort Bend.
DeWanna, let's tell people how they can reach out to you, whether they want help buying or selling their property, or if they want to know more about the WCR, the Women's Council of Realtors.
Well, they can reach me at Women's Council Realtors Fort Bend on our Facebook and our Instagram page. And you can find me on har.com, DeWanna Baker, and I'm with Red Real Estate Driven. And you can email me at dbaker@myredrealtor.com. And you can call me at 832-489-5393.
One more time.
832-489-5393.
DeWanna, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having me, Bill.
Let's welcome Whitney Pugh. She is the broker owner of Legacy South Realty in Alvin, Texas. Whitney, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, first of all, let's tell people, especially those that are listening outside of Houston, a little bit about Alvin, Texas, and your company in Alvin, Texas.
So Alvin is a small town. It's located about 30 miles south of Houston, and it has that small town charm, and people just really love it.
I think I might want to move there. I'm kind of in the mood, seriously, after a lot of reasons, but I'm kind of in the mood to head to a small town, and many others are. And I'm guessing you're seeing that in the activity there. Let's tell people about what's going on in the Alvin area as far as activity.
The Alvin market is still very hot. There's tons of buyers out there, and just people wanting to come to Alvin and surrounding areas.
Where are they coming from in most cases? Do you see a trend? Are they coming from Houston or where?
So we're seeing a lot of people come from big towns. We're seeing that, they just want that tight-knit, community feel that Alvin gives.
Well, also, Alvin, Texas, again, for those that are listening, it's about how far from Houston?
It's about 30 miles south of
So
Houston.
we'll still call it the Houston area. So if you're listening outside on the internet or something, it's still one of those areas, kind of like if you go north, maybe New Waverly, Texas, or even Conroe. Alvin's a town in the south. As far as your company, now you're a broker as well as a realtor. Your company is called Legacy South. Let's tell people a little bit about your company.
So I created Legacy South Realty about 2.5 months ago. So it's a very new company, but
you're here to put that announcement out there right now.
Yes,
We're
I
honored.
am.
Thank you, Whitney.
Yes, it is a new company, but I'm not new to Alvin. I've just been really busy trying to get that up and running. I'm excited about it.
Well, a real estate professional, just as a realtor, that's a big deal right there. What inspired you to take that next step, more responsibility, and also more learning and more classes, right? What inspired you to become a broker?
So what inspired me to become a broker really is my grandmother, Marjorie. She inspired me to get into real estate and then, eventually take it to the next level of having my own brokerage.
And Marjorie, was she a realtor? Is she
Yes.
still with us?
No, she is not. She passed away 5 years ago from cancer. And, ever since then, I've just felt this pull on my heart to really carry on and continue her legacy.
So she was a realtor in Alvin?
Yes, she had her own brokerage in Alvin.
Well, I guess she was around long enough for her to know that you were in real estate in Alvin, kind of following in her footsteps.
Yes.
She must have been so proud.
Yes, I sure hope so. But yes, she was in real estate for over 25 years. I grew up always around real estate and just watching her, going to closings, showing houses with her. And so she just loved people. That was her thing. She just really loved helping people buy and sell.
So we'll dedicate the show to Marjorie.
Yes, that would be lovely.
That is awesome. It's interesting. A lot of times people say their father or their mother, but in this case, your grandmother.
Yes, she was definitely an inspiration to not only me, but to so many other people in our community and other, agents.
And when we think about real estate changing, just in 3 years, it's changed, not just with all the atmosphere that we have of all the things that have happened or happening in the world, but technically, and then all the new things that you have to do and new forms to sign. I'm going to guess back in your grandmother's day, what do they have, the key maps?
Absolutely.
Actually, that was back in my day, too. But they don't have them anymore, do they? You don't need them. We got them on our phones.
Exactly. And actually, the other day, I found her old key maps.
Oh, my.
So that was very interesting.
Orange and everything, huh?
Oh, yes. Yes.
When I think of Orange, I think of Whataburger and Home Depot, but that's a whole nother thing. Let's tell people, as far as like right now, let's take your last 10 transactions, right? Mm-hmm. How many of them were buyers, and what percentage was buyers and sellers?
I would say about 90% from my last 10 transactions, they were sellers. I am working with more buyers now than I used to, say, a couple years ago. But I love working with both sellers and buyers.
Well, those that are selling in Alvin, where are they? Are they leaving to go to another place, to have a second home? Everybody's different as far as why they sell their home, but do you see any trend there?
I do. So we have been seeing a lot of sellers wanting to sell their home because they're wanting to downsize, or as kids go to college, they're wanting a smaller space, smaller property. In Alvin, we deal with quite a bit of rural properties. So a lot of people have, acreage, and they're just wanting to downsize just to simplify their life.
The flip side is there's a lot of people that want that acreage too, right?
Exactly. So
And
then
want a little more extra room, elbow room in that.
Right. So then the buyers that we're seeing in our area are people exactly like that. They're wanting to get out of the, the big city and have some space in between them and their neighbors. And, our area is perfect for that.
It sounds like it. Let's tell people, as far as let's go talk about rural properties. As far as, let's say someone is from a price point standpoint, if someone wants to buy a home and they say, I would like to have at least 2 acres in a 2,000 square foot or so house, something in that nature. Number one, are those available? And what's kind of the price point?
So everyone wants that, actually. 2 acres and about 2,000 square feet.
I was just guessing. I mean, I don't know.
No, that is a very
So that's
hot
a popular
item.
right there.
Oh, yeah.
That's the
hot
Big
item.
Mac. It's
Oh,
gonna.
yeah.
Why am I thinking about Fubugo? Yeah.
Exactly. No,
Yeah.
it is. It is a very hot item. 2 acres is not. It gives you some space, but it's not a whole lot to manage, and so it seems like buyers are wanting about 1 acre to 2 acres, and a little bit smaller house.
So again, that sounds perfect for even 1 acre, 1.5. But can that be had? Do you have that available, or how tight is the market?
It's very few and far between, I'll be honest. So in our area, we really have to do a lot of digging and also look at our connections and relationships that we built in our community, and really, take advantage of that to see if there are any properties out there that might be off the market, that might not be placed, on HAR. And so, there's you kind of have to go about it a different way to look for properties like that, because they are so rare.
Well, with your experience, it sounds like even having the real estate being part of your family, you're the person to call as far as Alvin, Texas goes. You probably know where those nooks and crannies are.
Oh, yes.
You do.
We definitely do.
And then for something maybe more traditional, what if someone just wants a house with a big yard? That's a little easier to find?
It is a little bit easier to find, yes. But we still have, we've seen a lot more listings come on the market in our area, but we definitely need more, so.
Maybe someone
Yes.
calls you up here today.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
says, I heard you. I want to sell my house in
That's
Alvin
right.
or wherever. So as far as price points, though, let's go back to the hard to find 2,000 square feet, 2 acres. If we found one, or the last one that you saw that was similar to that, what's the price point of that there in Alvin?
I would say for something like that, you're looking about $500,000
So 500. Now,
in that range.
Okay.
5 to 550.
are there people that, in addition to a certain amount of acreage, are the people that say, hey, Whitney, I have horses, and I have 2 horses, one to keep the other one company and to double the work. I'm just saying I have 2 dogs, so I could kind of go. So does that happen? And is there places there for those that have horses?
Absolutely. So our area, Alvin and surrounding areas, it's perfect for people that have animals, and we deal with people like that all the time.
So no big
lot.
deal.
No big deal at all. Yeah.
Do you have any horses?
I do not.
Have dogs?
I do too.
2 dogs, right?
Yes.
What kind?
I have a German short-haired pointer and a blue lacy.
How about that? Probably listening to the show right now, I'm guessing.
Yes, of course.
Awesome. Well, dogs are some of our best listeners out there. Tails wag. We hear those reports all the time. So we're talking with Whitney Pugh. Her company is Legacy South. She is the broker owner of this company. Whitney, before we close the segment, what else do you want people to know?
I just want people to know that, right now is a great time to buy. And for sellers, if you're looking to sell, now is also a great time to sell because we need the homes. So if you're interested in buying or selling real estate in the Gulf Coast region, Legacy South Realty? No.
Also, one other question I'm thinking of, as far as the people that are making their way to Alvin, are any coming from out of state?
We have had some that are coming from out of state. Yes. Yeah.
So let's tell people how they can reach you, Whitney Pugh.
You can call me at 832-621-6206. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Legacy South Realty. You can also email me at whitney@legacysouthrealty.com.
And the website is legacysouthrealty.com. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And the phone number again, Whitney, is?
832-621-6206.
I need to visit Alvin, Texas. You've inspired me. Thanks for being on the show.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Many times on the show, if you're a regular listener, you know that I say stay close to your Stewart Title Business Development Officer. We have tremendous people at Stewart Title there to serve you wherever you are, escrow officers, business development people. Today, we are going to talk to Bethany Marin. She is our business development officer in Corpus Christi, Texas. So along the way, we're going to find out what's going on in Corpus Christi. Bethany Marin. Hey, Bethany, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, there you are. As we talk, you are in Corpus Christi right now. But first, let's tell people about your role at Stewart Title.
All right, great. So I'm the business development officer for 3 office locations here. So I'm basically in charge of Nueces County, which is Corpus Christi and Port Aransas. We have 2 offices in Corpus Christi, one off of Staples on the south side, and then we have our North Padre Island location, as well as a Stewart Title office in Port Aransas. So there's a total of 7 escrow officers on our team, and then a whole bunch of support staff, and we're lucky to serve this population down here.
Well, when I think of Corpus Christi, I used to go down there, and I think people that may be listening right now have been, especially in those that have lived in Texas for a while or in the Houston area. We've gone down to Corpus Christi for a variety of reasons, business, entertainment, and things like that. And as you describe your role and where your offices are, I'm thinking you drive in, and my first memory, it's been a couple of years since I've been there, is thinking of the downtown area. Where is the Stewart Title office as it relates? What's the closest one to that downtown area where the hotels are at? Just curious.
Yeah, that would be our Staples Street office. So it's considered on the other side of South Padre Island Drive. That's the main highway that runs kind of through Corpus. On the south side is where there's a lot of new development, builders building out on that side. But it is, I'd say, centrally located because it's very close to South Padre Island Drive off of Staples. So, it's probably 15 minutes from the downtown area.
It's also kind of fun to think about the location you are to the water because, as you know, and maybe listeners don't know, but Stewart Title started 130 or so years ago at a little town called Galveston right by the water, and we have grown into an international company, and there you are at one of our offices by the water. That's super fun.
Yes, it is.
So let's tell people about Corpus Christi, Bethany. We always talk here on the show most of the time about Houston, Texas, what's going on, market shifting and things like that, like right now. However, let's tell people what's going on in Corpus Christi as far as the buying and selling goes.
Yeah, I'd love to. So Houstonians might consider getting a short-term rental over here in Corpus Christi. That is a huge market down here, especially on the island. Currently, Aruba Bay Waterfront Resort is being developed, and that sells condos for short-term rentals, and it's a whole community that's on the water with boat slips and a clubhouse, activities, several pools, things like that. And so, and it is zoned specifically for short-term rentals. The property that, I don't know if people in Houston know, but there was a big piece of property on the island where Schlitterbahn had their water park, and then they sold, and it became a different water park resort. But long story short, they just tore that whole thing down. They're going to build a multi-use development that's going to be on 242 acres. It's going to be about an $800 million project called Whitecap Preserve. So that should be fully complete in 7 to 10 years, but they expect to have a hotel, a marina, a nature preserve, shops and residential condos and things like that. I think single family and condos out there. Now, the short-term rental has been a hot topic down here with the city council. And if we want to get into all of that, we can get into all of that. But it is, that's a big thing down here. And only 57% of houses in Nueces County or in Corpus Christi are owner occupied. So the rest are rentals. So, and of course, Port Aransas is just a little further down Mustang Island, big fishing community, big vacation spot. It's where you get your golf carts and drive around town and go to all the beach shops and things like that. And just spend the weekend at the beach is mostly second homes and short-term rental property, right? But we're growing. We have the Corpus Christi Army Depot here that employs a lot of people, in the Naval Air Station where they do the pilot training, Texas A&M, Corpus Christi University. I live kind of near that area off of Ennis Jocelyn. They're always building more student housing and growing and expanding and have several campuses now. Of course, we employ a lot of people at our refineries and the port of Corpus Christi. So we're growing, not as much because our permanent population, according to the census.gov, has only really risen about 1% to 2% over the last 10 years. I think that data is a little bit outdated because it was from 2020, and it feels like we've grown a lot more. Our population is 320,000 permanent residents, but every year we get 8 million tourists. So tourism is a big thing here. Yeah.
Well, as you mentioned, the tourists, actually, you had 4 tourists there just a few weeks ago, my son and his wife and the 2 kids. So there was 4 of them right there, and they stayed downtown in one of the oceanfront hotels. They had a good time. But when you say, just to educate me and the listeners, when you say Nueces County, again, using as the barometer the downtown Corpus Christi city, is that the county Nueces down there?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah. And then when you cross the bridge going over to the island, that's still Nueces County. And if you ever have been to Port Aransas, you turn left, go down, I think it's like 18 miles, and there's Port Aransas. But I think it's that. And Nueces County also includes Robstown as well. I don't do a whole lot of business out there and don't go out there that much. It's a little bit more rural, but yeah, that's Nueces County right there.
Well, you're saying you're representing 3 of our offices in the Corpus Christi area. Let's itemize them once again, and then when I ask you which one is the busiest in terms of rank, 1, 2, and 3, or they're all equal. Tell us again the offices, please.
So we have Port Aransas, and then we have the North Padre Island, which is technically still Corpus Christi, 78418, and then the South Side Corpus Christi are kind of like the busier the mainland is what I call it, for Corpus Christi off of Staples. And the busiest one is Port Aransas by far. Our escrow officers out there are Heidi Martinez and Rebecca Click, and they are just rocking and rolling. And every agent works with Heidi. I go out there, talk to them, and they just love her. And she is our top producing escrow officer with Stuart. Part of it might also be, she does definitely the most volume in closings, but also, of course, those properties cost a lot more as well. The next highest one would be our Staples location, just because we recently reopened the Padre Island location just a couple weeks ago. We had been there pre-COVID. During COVID, it had shut down, and then we didn't have the staff to staff it full time. We were still going out there for closings and by appointment only, but we recently just got it up fully staffed, 8 to 5, ready to go.
Well, as you mentioned Heidi there as an escrow officer, let's talk about the other escrow officers and mention their name, just because I know down in Corpus they're regular listeners of the show on the internet.
Yeah, that's great.
Hoping.
I'd love to give shout outs to my other team members. So on the island, we have Jody Garino and Selah Leititi. And then in town, we have Courtney Hayden, Shannon Tremmel, and Leslie Salinas.
Okay, going back to Port Aransas, and I can't picture that area. I know I've been there many years ago, but I can't. Is that more resort-ish type of deal, and that's why it's popular? Or what is that area?
Yeah, they've been building a lot, but this town wants to keep that kind of small town feel. They don't want it to look like South Padre Island. So I don't know if you've been to South Padre Island. There's tons of high-rise condominium Buildings. Port Aransas has made a rule that any new buildings can't be over 3 or 4 stories high.
Nice.
So they have Cinnamon Shores and Palmilla Beach and Smuggler's Cove are different new developments, like resort vacation communities geared toward people who want to have investment properties and beach houses, and then maybe rent those properties out when they aren't using it. And but it has that more small town family feel, because there's only a couple of really tall condo buildings that are kind of grandfathered in, but anything new has to be more, I don't know, residential looking, if that's the word.
Well, I've just, as we're talking, I've pulled up Port Aransas real estate on Realtor.com. It's expensive. And these are,
yeah.
And I'm looking at, so far I have not, I'm just scanning, and so far I have not seen a house. I'm just seeing condos ranging from, well, here's one for $229. There was one for $800. And I have not seen a single family home yet in the scan. In the meantime, so a lot of stuff going on. As a resident of the Corpus Christi area, and certainly we're talking with Bethany Marin with Stewart Title, our representative there in the 3 offices in the Corpus Christi area. As you are a resident there, Bethany, what is it you love about the Corpus Christi area?
There really is a lot to do. I grew up in the Chicago suburbs, and I kind of think it's like the mini Chicago, because we had the lakefront in Chicago.
That's
and,
right.
The marina and the Bears, or the Cubs games and different festivals going on and things like that. And Corpus Christi is kind of like that, but without the traffic. And so because we have the downtown with the marina, we have the minor league Corpus Christi Hooks baseball team, the Lexington Museum, which I don't know if you know, but the movie Pearl Harbor with Josh Hartnett actually was filmed on the Lexington ship, the aircraft carrier that you can take a tour of. We have the Texas State Aquarium, which is the largest aquarium in Texas. And I'm used to the Shedd Aquarium, which is also very huge. And I was very impressed when I came to this one. It is equally, if not better than the one up there. And
I see a theme. You like being around water, Bethany.
I do. Yes. The next thing I was going to say was sailing and windsurfing.
Oh,
Corpus Christi is the number one place in the continental United States to do wind sports. So lots of kite surfers come here. We have regattas, sailing races.
Wow.
One of the first thing I did when I moved here was get on a sailboat to do one of the Wednesday night sailboat races and get that experience. And so it's a lot to do.
That's right. Well,
what I think is a smaller city, right? Compared to Houston.
As people that have been to Corpus are listening now, and they've been there, one of the things I remember, it does have that wind factor. So thus, there are all the sports that are related to that. Makes life interesting and fun. Bethany, before we close this segment, what else do you want people to know? You're going to have to come back. The time has flown by so quickly. You're going to have to come back and keep reporting on Corpus because you're selling homes to Houstonians down there as second and getaway homes, right?
Yeah. I mean, I know Galveston is closer to Houston, and that's all of our Houston friends seem to go to Galveston. But I just would encourage you, if you haven't been here, come to see it. I think our water is beautiful. The fishing is great. If anybody needs any contacts as far as who to talk to book a boat or something like that, I'm here for all of that. So we'd love to have you come visit and maybe buy property, maybe come and stay.
You're serving people right there in Corpus Christi for Stewart Title. Bethany, how can people reach out to you if they need some guidance on that second home or they want to close at Stewart Title? And I know they do.
I give my cell phone out to anyone and everyone. If you've got a pen, it's 361-500-5258. I'll say it one more time, 361-500-5258. We have an office phone number, but honestly, this type of job, we're always out and about. So just call or text that number, and I'm happy to help in any way that I can.
Thank you so much, Bethany Marin.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
If you're a real estate professional, then listen closely. Cyber criminals are targeting our industry. They are impersonating real estate professionals, homebuyers, sellers, and title agents. Their goal is to gain access to your inboxes, computers, and clients so they can steal information and funds. Does your business insurance offset these risks? Not sure? Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if your business is properly insured. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title would not be possible without our partner, Stewart Insurance, with a focus in real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers. Stewart Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risks facing our industry today. They invest a significant amount of time helping real estate broker owners offset and manage their risks. Here he is, John Bramlett with Stewart Insurance. Hey, John.
Hello, Bill. Nice to be with you.
Well, here we are. Speaking of Alvin, Texas, you're from Alvin, Texas.
I grew up in Alvin, Texas. That's correct.
You know, people always want to know a little bit about the personalities they hear, where they're from and things like that. Right there in Alvin, Texas. And again, I need to go back. It's been a long time since I've been there. So, in fact, it's been so long I kind of forgot. So I want to get down there one day.
It's a great town, and as Whitney said, a lot of fantastic people, very welcoming, very warm. I still have a lot of dear friends that I've had for 50 plus years.
How about that? Well, people wait every week. We get emails all the time about your appearances. Insurance is so important, whether you're in Alvin, Texas or the Woodlands. It doesn't matter. It's a very important thing. And you're here to talk about Stewart Insurance and whatever else.
Well, I'd like to visit a little bit today about how we can help our clients and our prospective clients, whether they be, a real estate broker or a property management firm, but specifically our broker partners on, there's really kind of three ways that we can help our partners out and their clients. The first is this: Real Estate Matters. That if you truly want to grow your business, to use the power of radio to do that. Not only are we on historically one of the most significant AM stations in the city of Houston, but we're also part of the iHeartMedia family. So you can hear our show through the iHeartMedia app all over the country, all over the world. So, and then you do such a great job, Bill, of providing the segments for our guests so they can turn on and market themselves. We have an opportunity to talk about the Women's Council. We have an opportunity now to talk about a brand new brokerage. And then also from a personal development. If you've never had the chance to be on the radio or to promote yourself or promote your business, it's a great learning tool. So from both a business development and a personal development perspective with Real Estate Matters, it's a real opportunity and one that you can reach out to either Bill or I, and we can make that happen. The second is continuing education, that it's important for all of our partners that they keep up with what's happening in the world. And then there are some requirements from a continuing education that they have to have. So at Stewart Insurance, we have 3 CE classes that are certified for real estate brokers that I can teach throughout the state of Texas. So we've got one that talks about property insurance essentials for real estate professionals. So how do insurance companies look at residential property? What are the elements of those plans and those coverages? And they're all a little different, so that a broker or a realtor can provide some guidance to their clients about what they ought to consider from a coverage perspective, depending upon the type of property that they're working with. Right now is a great time for the Two Sides of Water class. So we're in the middle of hurricane season, and the Two Sides of Water is, again, looking at how insurance companies look at water damage. What comes from the outside, what comes from the inside, what type of water damage potentially could be covered by a home insurance plan versus what type of water damage could potentially be covered from a flood plan. So we cover the 2 different plans, what's unique about them, what they do cover, what they don't cover, and things to consider when you're making a plan purchase. And then the final is our real estate liability course. There are a lot of risks that are inherent in being a real estate professional. So what are those liability risks that are out there? What are some of the things you can do as a realtor or as a broker to minimize those risks? And then beyond that, what are some of the insurance products that are available to offset those risks? So those are the 3 classes that we have to offer that are CE. And then if our listeners would like to just have somebody come and visit on some specific things, so cyber liability and what's happening in that world and what are those risks, we can talk about that. If you'd like to have us come and visit with first-time home buyers and talk about what's important from a home plan if you're a first-time home buyer, or just in general about business insurance and what are the different plans, what's the difference between an errors and omissions versus cyber liability versus general liability versus a business owner's plan. So we can cover that as well.
As we are here every week, I want to bring to your attention two things. Number one, reminding you this is show 440.
Oh, fantastic.
It's like the odometer when we reach that next point. But also it's an opportunity to say once again, on behalf certainly of myself, Stewart Title, and thank you, Tom Carpentier, everyone at Stewart Insurance, for being a part of the show and making this show possible, just like we say in the preamble. So 1,000 thank yous to Stewart Insurance. You guys are doing a tremendous job. And once again, the vision that Tom Carpentier had at the very beginning, 440 weekends ago, maybe it happened within 4 weeks of that first show. So thanks, Tom. Thanks, John Bramlett, for continuing it. And number two, for finding KPRC. That was a major improvement, and that was your work right there. So we herald you, Stewart Insurance, 1,000 thank yous for that.
Well, I appreciate it, Bill. You're very welcome. We've enjoyed the partnership, enjoyed the benefits that the radio show has been able to give to our listeners and our clients and Stewart Title clients.
Well, also, and when I post the Facebook posts of each person on the show on my Facebook page, so if you want to be my friend out there, Bill Napick, you'll see the individual segments, but those insurance segments are consistently clicked on. People, there's a bigger appetite for insurance than we realize. That's all I'm saying.
Nothing excites people more than talking about insurance. I know when
it's right up there.
When I have that CE class at 9:00 in the morning, and we're here for 2 to 3 hours talking about insurance, you just see people are on the edge of their seats.
It's right up there. There's no doubt. So, John, what else do we want people to know about Stewart Insurance as we talk here today? Alvin, Texas is super. The other thing, when you talked about the iHeartRadio app earlier, before the show, I talked with our business development officer, Bethany Marin, and reminded her that right there in Corpus, we recorded her segment, but right there on the weekend in Corpus, that she and any of the listeners, all our friends at Stewart Title and Stewart Insurance that may be in Corpus Christi, they can click in to the iHeartRadio app, hear the show, and of course, after the fact, even before sometimes, they could just go to the YouTube channel there at stewart.com/radio. Readily available right there.
Well, we actually have on our personal lines team, a client services representative, Andrea Burrows, that lives in the Corpus Christi area. So shout out to Andrea's, and she'll be listening too.
Gaining listeners every show, 2-3 at a time. That's how it works.
Absolutely. And the last way that we can help is from insurance. So if you truly want to be properly insured, and all that means is that you understand how much coverage you are willing to take on yourself, or how much risk you're willing to take on yourself versus how much risk you'd like to put on the insurance partner. As long as you understand that difference, in our world, you're properly insured. So it could be the most robust coverage in the world, could be a very conservative plan. The main thing is that you understand how much risk you're taking on versus how much risk you're placing on the insurance company. And we can do that both for families and individuals, for their home or renters, their automobiles, their motorcycles, vacation homes, vacant land. If they're an investor, we can help. And then on the business side, their errors and omissions coverage, their general liability, cyber liability, workers' compensation. So we can help those real estate professionals with their business insurance.
Sounds good to me, John. How can people reach you, whether they're in Alvin or anywhere else, Corpus Christi?
Well, if they're in Alvin, Corpus, or Fort Bend County, it can be 866-798-2827. That's 866-798-2827.
And the New York City hotline is?
866-798-2827.
There is John Bramlett, Stewart Insurance. Thank you, John.
Bill, always a pleasure.
As we wind up the show, we talk about our business development officers. We had Bethany on the show. Here is Joyce Eisenberg. She brought Whitney to the show. Joyce, let's tell people quickly about your office.
Okay, you can find me at Stewart Title, Katy and Fulsher, the Katy and Fulsher offices, at 832-389-4600. 832-389-4306.
Again, the number is
832-389-4306.
so you want to close your next transaction in Katy and Fulshear right there with the A-plus team. You're right there, right, Joyce?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for being on the show. Here he is.
Thanks, Bill.
Kevin Davidson brought Dewana Baker here to the show today. Kevin, as we wind things up, you also teach CE classes and so many other classes. I mean, that's a whole nother show. We could do like 2 hours on that, but let's tell people your offices for Stewart Title.
I represent the two offices in Fort Bend County, which is in Sugar Land and Richmond. And you can reach me at 832-654-0527 or kevin.davidson@stewart.com.
Phone number again is?
832-654-0527.
You can find them on Facebook all over the place there too, right, Kevin? I can't wait to see your posts every
I've
day.
already posted already.
At least 3. Okay, Dewana Baker, as we wind things up, she is the president of the WCR Women's Council of Realtors in Fort Bend. Dewana, before we close things down, what else do you want people to know?
Please join Women's Council of Realtors Fort Bend. You can,
Even if you're a guy.
even if you're a guy, come join Women's Council of Realtors. You will, you will not be disappointed if you come and join Women's Council. And also, we're having our CE class coming up this week with Kevin Davidson, and we have a big event going on in September. It's called the Art of Badassery. It's going to be held at Gallery Furniture on Grand Parkway. So I hope to see everyone there.
The Kevin Davidson?
Yes.
That guy's something else. All right. Thanks, Dewana. And now from Alvin, Texas, Legacy South Realty, Whitney Pugh. Whitney.
If you are looking to buy or sell near Alvin or surrounding areas, residential, farm and ranch, or any other type of rural property, give Legacy South Realty a call.
The number is?
832-621-6206.
And you don't have to bring horses with you, but once you're there and you have the couple acres, 2,500 square feet, you could buy the horses once you get settled in, right?
Absolutely.
I bet you have a connection.
Absolutely. Sure do.
Your husband's a builder?
Yes, he is a builder.
You want to say hi to him?
Yes. Shout out to my husband, Trey Pugh, who owns a Gap Custom Homes located in Santa Fe, Texas.
There you go. Thank you so much, Whitney Pugh. Thank you all for listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Nampick, together with John Bramlett, Tom Carpentier, Justin Ramirez, Larry Warren, all of us at Stewart Title, Stewart Insurance. We thank you for listening. We would appreciate tell others about the show. You could also go to stewart.com/radio. That's right. You could see the faces. If you just heard it, that's only half the fun. Go to stewart.com/radio. Yes, you can see all the guests on this show today and past shows too at stewart.com/radio. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Will Melbourne, doing incredible work right there across the way. And we will see you next week.
In today's litigious society, it is imperative to have the proper insurance to offset the many risks facing your business, especially if you're a real estate broker. Your errors and omissions and cyber liability insurance can help limit the threat of these risks if you know what to look for. Not sure if your insurance addresses the risks facing your business? Contact Stewart Insurance to be confident your brokerage can withstand these risks. Stewart Insurance, 866-798-2827. StewartInsurance.com. That's StewartInsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. If you're a real estate professional, then listen closely. Cyber criminals are targeting our industry. They are impersonating real estate professionals, homebuyers, sellers, and title agents. Their goal is to gain access to your inboxes, computers, and clients so they can steal information and funds. Does your business insurance offset these risks? Not sure? Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if your business is properly insured. Visit StewartInsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. Visit StewartInsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.